this is Danielle. I'm here with Shane Rice, and I'm continuing to learn about the GitLab.com marketing site. So today, Shane has been very generous to offer to walk me through some of the iterations that the free trial sign-up experience has gone through, and then also what those metrics look like. So I'm going to share actually, Shane, do you want to share your screen so you can share metrics stuff?
Yeah, sure. Just one second.
Yeah, you take your time. And to be clear, I'm talking about.gitlab.com/free-trial.
And what I'm going to do too, while we're talking, I'm going to go to the archive.org to go to the Wayback Machine, just so you can see what it looked like. It's not a perfect representation, but you can at least get an idea visually of what it's looked like over time.
Awesome.
So we'll just start with around the time I started, because that's where I have the most context, and then we can move forward from there.
Cool.
All right, great. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. All right, great. Okay, cool. So let's go here and say site content, all pages. And then we'll just go all the way back to June 12th, 2018 till today. June 12th is when I started. So that's an easy day for me to pick. Cool. All right. So just looking at the raw data, you can see, this is a weekly view of page views to the free trial page. And you can see putters long, and then, it picks up in August, September, and then January 2019. Wow. Goes out of control. And what happened there is that's when we had a carousel on the homepage in the hero before that. And free trial was one of the options there, along with, 6 or 7 other offers. And, that week of January 27th, we went to a single offer or 2 offers in the hero, free trial and demo. And that's when the free trial visits to free trial just kind of took off. And at that point, it was something like this. So this is what the form looked like on, when I joined in June 2018. Very, similar message, but just kind of a different design. I don't think the form looked like this. I think this is just like an artifact from the archive. But then let's see, if we go back to look at, let's say just, January, let's say February of 2019, I'll give you a look at what that looks like there. And so this was the view for a long time. So you would hit the free trial, and then you would land on download, install GitLab self-managed as the default trial option. And there was a tab for the SaaS option. And so to go to the SaaS trial, you would click out, and that would take you to GitLab.com. Otherwise, if you fill this out here, hit submit, that goes into our regular sales flow. And so then in August of last year, 2019, we made an update to, okay, we need to edit that part out because it had the container information because of the debug window here. Okay. So I'll just start over real quick. So in August of 2019, we changed the design of the free trial. We moved away from the tab view to a 2 CTA offer view like this, with GitLab.com free trial on the left, self-managed trial on the right. And so when that happened, we saw an uptick in clicks on the GitLab.com free trial, and we saw a decrease in self-managed GitLab free trial request and visits to the self-managed free trial page, which is a page behind this. So if you click on this, it takes you to a page that looks like this now. This is the self-managed trial today. And so around that time is, when we saw that decrease, I set up a test where we flipped the order of the buttons here. So we put the self-managed trial on the left, the .com free trial on the right. And that did decrease the number of clicks to the .com free trial. an increase self-managed, but it didn't match the interest we were seeing on with .com on the left. So when the .com free trial was on the right, this was over a 2-week period. There were like, I want to say 1,700 clicks to the .com free trial.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the self-managed trial on the left, we got about 700. So about, double, more than double with the .com offer on the left. So that's kind of a broad overview. Are there specific questions you have that I can answer about where it is today or where it was in the past?
Yeah, so I mean, one question I immediately have is we've got 2 calls to action that are kind of equal weighted from a design perspective on this page. And you kind of touched on, there's still a pretty different number of people who want to click on one versus the other. Have we had the conversation about a preferred path of like a single dominant call to action for this page, just for the sheer like, hey, don't make me think so hard about which thing I want?
I think I've advocated for that. We haven't had a lot of traction around that conversation. There's some other opportunities there too. We could use some data to try to, like enrich the path to say like, hey, based on your company size, we're going to suggest that you try, GitLab.com today, or, we're going to push you to the self-managed trial, but we haven't really made any decisions or even tests in that direction. I'm definitely an advocate for if we can unify and create a free trial process that removes the choice of which one do I choose here, and just like say give a semantic question. So like, how do you want to use GitLab, that we can then route based off that instead of having it go through this kind of it demands a choice, and when people don't know what to choose, they're going to bounce, right?
So yeah, my next question was going to be, could we take a look at this page in Google Analytics and just look at the historical bounce rate? Because I think managing against bounce rate on this page would probably be a good proxy.
Yes, so increased a little bit when we increased the number of visits, and then over the summer of last year, this is actually before any changes were made.
Okay.
And at least on the dual offers.
Mm-hmm.
And then higher up, but then it's back down to kind of that normal like 50-60% range here.
So a question for you, just my reaction is this still feels like a pretty high bounce rate considering they've already clicked on a button prior to this page that like has a pretty high intent, right? It's a free trial button. So that is really curious. So when we look at
well, I think too, it's important to see that the bounce rate and the exit percentage are different. So bounce is like they hit this page as their first page and then they leave.
Right.
Exit is they're on this page and they leave the site for that session.
Right.
So I think let's see if we can find that.
Yeah, that's great.
So so the exit rate, goes up to about 30% here when we first, moved the free trial to a prominent CTA, and then creeping up to 40% here and staying around 40% for most of this year. So there has been an increase in exit rate.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I just looking at this page, my first reaction is like, I'm pretty confident a big single button, that was also maybe not in a stop color. Like I realize our brand color is orange, but like it's not it's not an action color. Like a big green button generally would do better. I'd be very curious. Like these are the kinds of experiments I love to run with Launch Darkly or Optimizely for us, just to see what happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, have you done any experiments like that yet, or?
Not at GitLab. I've done some experiments like that in other roles. The closest I've come. So one of the challenges I think we have is because about.gitlab.com is a static site. Some of the tools like Optimizely and Google Optimize, that JavaScript kind of testing is not just doesn't work as well. We've had a lot of performance issues with that. I know there's performance issues with that in general, no matter what site you're using, but it seems like there's something about the way our site's set up that makes it particularly difficult.
Okay.
It really depends on how much you're trying to test. Like if you're just moving an element, like moving from one side to the other, fine. But if you want to test a whole new design, it's a very difficult process, which is why we're using Launch Darkly for that that kind of test.
Cool. Yeah, no, I'm mostly thinking about just like erasing divs, and just like being like, sorry, like this is the only option.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, okay, that's really helpful. So let's go back to the free trial page real quick, if you don't mind.
No, not at all. Sorry.
You're fine.
All right.
While I have you, and we're 5 minutes over. Are you okay to go over, or did you have a next meeting?
No, this is fun. It's my last call today.
Okay, well, great. Awesome. After this, you can have a beer and chill, I hope.
Yeah.
I just wanted to scroll down a little bit and just look at what else is on this page. So it's a little surprising to me. Are these actually clickable links?
Yep.
So I'm a little surprised we have exit paths on this page, like at literally any other goal or path allowed other than just like driving the call to action. Curious, like, was there any really strong need to keep these clickable, or do you have any thoughts on that?
So I didn't know these were clickable until we started talking about it. And I think probably what happened is that this is an element that we use on multiple pages, and we just added it in here as an include without really thinking about, oh, hey, these links are clickable. We need to, have a separate, customers widget that is not clickable for, landing pages or conversion pages.
Yeah, cool. I was curious.
Yeah, no.
And then last one thing is, can we click on the startyourgitlab.com free trial?
Mm-hmm.
CTA there. So this is a nice form. It's quite simple, and it follows the rules of no exits really nicely. I am curious, have we done much experimentation with the content on this page? Because one thing I'm noticing is this form doesn't really continue to sell GitLab.
Mm-hmm.
It's very functional, but I'm just curious, like, have we played with having this form like next to like kind of reselling the value points again or anything like that?
No, we haven't. This form is relatively new. I mean, I think it launched back in October, and so previously, if you clicked on that, startyourgitlab.com free trial, it took you to customers.gitlab.com and would work you through the trial and sign up process. And it was kind of confusing because you have a customers.gitlab.com login as well as a gitlab.com login, and so got rid of that and simplified it here. I think it would be great to do that, and then make it a little bit more like the free trial page, not in the necessarily the look, but just in the sense that it does keep hammering home those points of like the benefits of the gold trial, like what you get out of it,
what you can do.
What's that?
Like what you can do, like, once you have this, you're going to be able to collaborate with your team. You're going to be able to manage your code, and you're going to be able to start building pipelines, like all these cool things that we could. Just reminding you, like, you really do want to fill in this form. Don't bounce.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think that would be a really great thing to test and look at on this page as well. And then it continues after this. So there's this page, and then there's a second page where I think you add your group. Maybe there's an additional step after this, but I think like continuing that, like to call out that journey, right? Like to say, like, here's what you're getting ready to do. Here's why you're adding this now. Help people kind of walk through that process. I think would be really helpful.
So if I only fill in the first half of the form but not the second, does that mean I don't get a trial?
I don't know. I think hopefully there's an abandonment email that goes out that says, hey, you started this process, but I don't see an email address on this page, so I don't know if it's on the next page or where that comes into play.
Yeah, I have a hunch because there's no contact information on this page other than telephone number that maybe they get created in Salesforce as a lead, but I sort of would imagine without an email address, given the way we're set up as a company, it seems like a lot of friction to make a trial. If you I wonder why we don't just say, give us your name and email, set a password, and here's your trial. And then, by the way, now before you can activate your trial, we need this info. Just kind of curious if we've thought about that.
I'm sure that's probably been a thought. I know it's not anything we've tested or designed out. I think this is kind of that next iterative step from what was happening on customers, and I think what you're talking about is a great next iterative step to improve this process too. because we know, like we want to simplify and make it, reduce that friction so that when people, hit this page, they're ready to, provide that information because they understand the value that's coming their way. And it's not just like, hey, we're getting ready to market to you kind of feeling.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that this does feel a little bit like, I just want to trial. I don't want to fill out a sales form. Like, I don't mind giving it to making them fill out the form after we've given them the trial, but I like the idea that they can kind of, if they want to, they can still sort of get out of it. I mean, most people will still just do what you tell them to do, but
yeah,
interesting. I mean, and by the way, none of this is criticism of you or anyone else watching this video and the decisions they've made. I'm just looking at this from the fresh eyes of like, I'm new on this team and there's some design patterns that I'm used to seeing in SaaS. And so some of this doesn't quite match. So I'm just trying to understand the history. So for you, Shane, and anyone watching this later, please know, like, this is not a judgment of your decisions. It's just questions I want to ask so I can iterate with you.
Yeah, no, I think, for me, and I think anybody watching, we're all assuming good intent. And so, but I'm with you. I don't think it's a criticism of anything other than just like, hey, let's work together to make this better. Absolutely.
Okay, one last question, and then I will let you go get that beer. I noticed there's this skip trial, continue with free account link at the bottom here. What does that do, and what's the thinking there?
So it looks like it would just take you to register, but since I'm already have an account, it would take me to my dashboard.
Okay.
And so, if somebody were to enter this flow and, they got here accidentally, but, I'm not really, to me, like, you're already on the free trial page and, like, if you got here, you intentionally clicked, hopefully.
I mean, the question I have is also like, if you really just want to bounce, maybe you should bounce, but I don't know if we should give you an out here. Like, this is a pretty important continue button. We really want you to click that so we can actually, because we have no abandonment capture path. So we might be inadvertently kind of making our lives a little harder. But my question for you is, what's the difference between a free account and the trial? Can't the trial just turn into a free account at the end of the trial period if the user doesn't want to pay us?
Yes. Yeah. So they have that language. The language at the top of this trial, it says you have this free trial last 30 days, after which you'll still have your free GitLab account forever, and then it just asks for that information. So I think the difference is
using to users, like, don't they, like, that seems like something internal about us that we're trying to like put on the outside. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think we don't want users to enter this page and feel like we're forcing them into a trial, and create a negative feeling towards GitLab as a project. So maybe that's it. But no, I agree. Like, it's it doesn't seem like it's a risky request. Like, we're going to give you this free for 30 days. If you like it, great, you can pay for it. If not, you still have your free account, all the usability and advantages and benefits you get from that. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean, the thing I keep wondering is just like, that just gives me another question to answer as a person. I'm like, wait, am I supposed to click continue or am I supposed to click skip? Like, I want it to be free. I mean, when you put free on a page, it's like, whoa, I want that. Whatever that free thing is just gets my attention. So, okay.
Absolutely.
Well, this is super helpful. I'm really happy to learn. And yeah, thanks for taking me through this, Shane.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it, Danielle. Thanks.